Joe bombshell. Joe and Mika are laying down their swords, announcing how they met personally with President-elect Trump at Mar-a-Lago, saying it's time to restart communication with the man they've smeared nonstop as Hitler for the past decade.
We didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
Joe and I realized it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
A lot of Democratic leaders we've talked to this past week, since the election, have told Mika and me it's time for a new approach.
We know this will be a consequential presidency. The question is whether it will be constructive.
Don't be mistaken. We're not here to defend or normalize Donald Trump.
But boy, oh boy, did Joe and Mika stir up a beehive of angry liberals, some who were vowing to boycott. One top account says, F Joe and Mika, F Morning Joe. A current MSNBC host saying, normalizing Trump's...
I'm sick of that JoJo lady. Unbelievable. She be all on my timeline, man. I done muted tons of them, man. Unbelievable. But boy, they literally got the man killed. And y'all, let's clap it up for Trump, man. I know some of y'all saying I just couldn't do it, but let's just all give a round of applause to President Trump, man. Let them come to his home after they nearly got him killed. The dictator, the Hitler, Nazis, the threat to democracy. He's going to do this, and that. And they said it live on air almost every day. Also thinking that it would get Kamala, or any Democrat that they put up there. It could have been a dead buzzard. Elected. Lie after lie. Propaganda, fake news, biased reporting. Let's clap it up for Trump, y'all. Let's clap it up.
A bad idea, period. And Keith Olbermann's threatening anyone who goes on the liberal network by comparing them to Nazi collaborators. As for The View, well, Sonny isn't so sunny about the whole thing.
I don't think you need to sit down for 90 minutes at Mar-a-Lago and kiss his ring to be able to speak truth and to be able to cover a story. So maybe they're not journalists in the true sense. Maybe they're saying that they're opinion journalists. But we have to remember that Trump is the guy who ushered in the era of fake news.
Ooh. Greg, when you woke up this morning and you saw this, what did you think?
Well, first I have to be really quiet because I can't wake up Kudlow. But number one, Sonny is a coward. She's saying, I prefer to be far, far away and lob bombs than actually talk to somebody. I feel like, I love this story, that I should greet this reversal with the best intentions. They've seen the light. They've changed their minds. Remember, J.D. Vance had negative views on Donald Trump, and now he's his VP. So there is chance for redemption, and it should be welcome. And the Republican Party has evolved because of this. Well, you know, the people who never thought they were going to be in the Republican Party, Musk, you know, RFK, Trump, Rogan, they're all Trump, all Democrats. So we benefit from this. Now I'm back to reality. Morning Joe is hemorrhaging viewers. It appears that the network is for sale and you can't sell it in its current state. You can't just throw a fresh coat of paint on this turd. This move was a survival for the show and a survival for them. They had no options. If you noticed, they did not admit that they were lying. They didn't admit that they were contributing to the demonization hysteria that caused many, many bad things, including, of course, their present-day humiliation.
Well, you won't believe this. MSNBC Morning Joe co-host and vicious Donald Trump critics revealed this morning that they met with President-elect Trump at Mar-a-Lago on Friday morning. They did this after conceding that voters overwhelmingly had made their choice.
We were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past.
As it tanks and tanks and tanks, this is pure gold. Oh, they're like robots, you know. You just can't make this up, man. You just can't make this up. How y'all doing? Shout out to them beautiful pages around the world. Welcome, 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 welcome. I told y'all, man, these next 4 years, y'all be ready, man. We're going to have a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And like them beautiful pages around the world say, you just can't make this up.
Last decade that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. In this meeting, President Trump was cheerful, he was upbeat, he seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we?
So why wouldn't you meet with Donald Trump? I'm thinking really hard. Well,
yeah, Hitler. The dictator, the felon. Y'all said he was going to do this, and that. Yeah. Lied to the American people. Lied to the people. And now we're, you know, but again, I like the way this thing's playing out, man. And I told y'all it was going to play out like this, man. Especially after they seen those ratings, especially after, you know, at 3-1-12. Whew. Sometimes you got to swallow your pride. You know? You have to come to your senses. Yeah.
Maybe here's why. These are your own words.
The retweeting of neo-Nazi videos, Charlottesville. I mean, I could go on and on. What he said about majority black countries. That is tearing more at the fabric of America than attacks on the Twin Towers did. We rebuilt from that. We became stronger because of that. But this seems to me.
Yeah, now it's time to save your job. It's time to save your job, Joe. Joe, it's time to save your job. Yeah. But I love Trump's approach to all this, man. I know y'all seen what he said. You know.
Be a far graver threat to the idea of America. If Republicans continue this line of thinking, if they continue their support for Donald Trump, they needn't fool themselves. A second Trump administration would destroy the Department of Justice, would destroy the FBI. This is not a reach. I could go back and talk about Nazi Germany, and I'd do it without any concerns whatsoever. And if people can't start drawing the parallels, well, you're just stupid, or you have your head in the sand, or you're one of them. When you look at a Republican nominee, a potential Republican nominee that's talking about terminating the Constitution, he said, terminate the Constitution, arrest political opponents using the Justice Department, assassinate generals that weren't sufficiently politically loyal to him, saying that he was going to take the FCC and bring it in to the White House, and he would decide what networks were on and what networks were not on.
Lisa, I unfortunately saw that last one in real time. He literally said Donald Trump would assassinate generals and use SEAL Team 6. And now you're going to go meet with him? Sorry, you're both phonies.
Haley, I can't get over this story, right? I don't think any of us can. It's like, how does this call go, right? Like, oh, hey, Don. Okay, so I'm sorry I called you a Nazi for years and like Hitler. But you want to grab coffee, maybe lunch, you know, like
at your house.
Yeah. Like how does it? And it's like funny because it's so ridiculous and it's so shameless and it's so debasing and so disgusting on their part. But they also created this environment where Donald Trump almost got killed. Right. And even back in October, Mika Brzezinski said that the Madison Square Garden was a white nationalist, Nazi type rally. And so they're the ones that created that environment. And so it is good to see that MSNBC's ratings are down, and that's why they're doing this. Hopefully they can eat some humble pie, maybe do some self-reflection, and realize that they have led to a lot of the division in this country and an environment that potentially got Donald Trump killed.
You know, Mika Brzezinski went on The View and basically took over the show. It was like the Mika Brzezinski show that day. Well, now Sunny Hostin is very angry. Watch.
Uh-oh.
I think that we have to be very clear-eyed when we think about the president-elect and cover the president-elect. And I don't think you need to sit down for 90 minutes at Mar-a-Lago and kiss his ring to be able to speak truth and to be able to cover a story. So maybe they're not journalists in the true sense. Maybe they're saying that they're opinion journalists.
I mean, here she just said maybe Mika's not a journalist. You think?
Well, I mean, make MSNBC great again.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Look, the ratings are no joke.
Yeah.
And networks can think of it as being cyclical. So this cycle started last Wednesday morning after the election, and they're feeling it now. But I just don't understand where they are going to go forward and not admit that they lied. Because if they really thought he was a fascist, a Nazi, and he was getting at Trump supporters with those comments about MSNBC or MSG, the Madison Square Garden crowd, calling supporters Nazis and so on and so forth. Look, they have to admit they lied before they can go forth. Like, I'll never believe another word that they say. And by the way, that's more MSNBC, those clips we showed, than I've seen in years. I mean, that was a lot of material. I don't, you know, I try not to have that much of it in my system. I think I might be allergic to it.
That's good for your mental health. So that's probably a wise decision.
I'm sure they're nice people, but they lied.
John, you know, the fact that Trump took this meeting, Brooke Singman at Fox News Digital reached out, got some comments from him, and I found them to be fascinating. So for someone who's a fascist and all of these things, he said, I'm not looking for retribution, grandstanding, or to destroy people who treated me unfairly. He thinks it's vital to have a free, fair, and open media, and he has an obligation to talk to those, even those who mistreated him badly.
I told y'all, man, he's going to come. He wants to leave a mark as one of the greatest presidents to ever live, to ever be. Yeah. And I told y'all this second term is going to be completely different. Completely different, man. I hope y'all are ready for it.
Wish I could have seen him opening the front door and say, what, you couldn't find Mao and Stalin? They were busy? You're here to see Hitler? But,
oh, my goodness.
But no, I can't believe he let people in his house. Think about if people were calling you Hitler or Stalin or Mao, and they wanted to come over and have coffee. Would you actually let them in your house? So I actually think Trump is being quite magnanimous, totally contrary to the image that the left built of him. One thing about the ratings, Harris, I think by showing these clips, you have quadrupled the MSNBC ratings by showing them on Fox News.
Well, look, if they can talk neutrally and bring the country together, that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Y'all know Fox News is actually right now leading compared to when they put Fox, CNN, MSN, all of them. Fox is in the millions, and MSNBC couldn't even crack 400,000, 300,000, 500,000, under 500,000. It's the ratings are terrible right now. I don't know if y'all seen the rating report. A lot of y'all did. We showed it in a previous video, but they're in big trouble. But we told y'all what was going to happen after November 5th. Here it is.
Don't know. This feels self-serving, but maybe they'll prove differently.
Emily, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't think this is a new leaf. I remember the New York Times apologizing in 2016. There was no new leaf. This isn't a new leaf. This is a ploy to try to get an interview and ratings.
Yeah, look, I think that this speaks more to the magnanimous quality of Donald Trump's character, and all it does is reinforce the hubris of these individuals on the left of your screen. I find them reprehensible professionally, and I remember when President-elect Trump was on the show, on Gutfeld Show, and I was there, and he was talking about how when he had first met RFK Jr., he needed a ride home, so we offered him his private plane. But at the same time, RFK Jr. had been suing him, one of his business, for like an environmental issue. And the point was, Donald Trump was saying, that's okay. That's not, I separate that kind of stuff. He takes nothing personally, and it's actually incredibly admirable. And I cannot name one other person who has that same quality, frankly, because I sure don't. And the fact that he can forgive those and invite them to his home, not just for an interview, but invite them to his home and extend an olive branch and say, let me listen to you and I'd like you to listen to me. That's incredible. So anyone on the left that talks about a divisive president-elect, all you need to do is show them right there that this is, what more evidence do we need?
Yeah, the left cries, Mao, Stalin, Hitler, and then they say, bring me to Mar-a-Lago, please.
Right.